Good afternoon, and welcome to another edition of Fort Wayne Up Close. It is a wonderful Friday, Good Friday. It's about 70 degrees on the outside, and inside is just as warm and toasty. I have two beautiful people joining me today. I've got Kelley Marvin and Mr. John Dortch, the unofficial mayor himself. It's a pleasure having you back on this set. Always a pleasure sitting down talking and gaining knowledge. But you have to take a back seat for a little bit this morning or this afternoon. Because Kelley, we're going to talk to you, want to introduce you to our audience, let them know who you are. You're the founder of Inspired Nutrition, which you describe yourself as an integrative nutritionist. Now, to us yeomen, exactly what is an integrative nutritionist?
Yes. Hi. I'm so happy to be here. So, as an integrative nutritionist, I look at all aspects as a person and how that all fits together. So, as a nutritionist, I do focus primarily on food and how to cook, but we go deeper than that. We take a look at the entire person, including stress and mindfulness, for example.
Okay. Now that's good. Now, also, in knowing your story, I know you had some personal challenges, correct?
Yes, I have.
And I kind of look at it, I know like some boxers become boxers because they had to fight out in the streets and whatnot. There's some
Yes.
people who have children with autism, they do their research. Is that kind of how you got interested in this field?
Oh, yes, it absolutely is. Yes. There was a time where I would just, kind of eat what tastes good and what I had time for, and didn't really understand the message that food has for us. It's information. And so at that time, I was just at a point in my life with a lot of stress, not a great marriage, not a lot of great things going on, and everything just was really going downhill. And when I made space and I let go of things and I started to eat well, I noticed the change. I noticed that it became more clear. I noticed how my energy changed, my skin, my sleep, and I thought, wow, food can do all of that. Food can really nourish us and reduce our stress.
Okay. So you took the personal, had personal benefits, and it's changed your life. Now you're helping and sharing that with others. Is that kind of how the inspired energy blueprint is that
That's
how that came
exactly
about?
right. Yeah, and I call it a blueprint because it's really different for all of us. It's really about our personal self-awareness, understanding our bodies and the cues that we're given because our bodies are so intelligent. Our body's telling us when we have these symptoms, when we're tired, and when we need something. So the blueprint allows you to individualize it and say, how does this make me feel? And maybe I do need more magnesium, and this is how much I need, and especially geared for women and understanding our bodies, even throughout a 24-hour period. What I need in the morning is a little more cleansing, a little more energy boost. Maybe in the afternoon, I need to be more grounded. Maybe I need some more protein and some healthy fats. I need to think about hormones. So, all of these things there can be so many details. So the energy blueprint just helps us to simplify it and personalize it for ourselves.
Okay. And you said you talked about females, and I know when I looked at
Yes.
did my research on you,
Yeah,
a lot of stuff geared towards female.
that's right.
What about guys out there? Do you have things in place for men?
Most of the things I do really a man can do, and I think that we can all work together to be healthy, and we certainly influence each other, so we don't want to separate. But I do really specialize with women. I think that we are unique, and I think when we get together as women and we really empower each other and just start to understand our bodies, I think as women in society, we have just been separated. It's just kind of a mystery. And what happens with these hormones and what happens with this food and why do I have a headache and my skin is a little itchy? Like there's just these mysteries when it's really not a mystery. We've been around for a long time. There's lots of plants, there's lots of solutions. And I love getting together with my fellow sisters and just cooking and nurturing and helping each other. So yeah, we want to bring the men into a degree, but I do focus on women primarily.
Okay. Now, I found a quote that you had,
Okay.
and I loved it.
Yeah.
And we're going to tie it into, we had YMCA's Good Friday
We
breakfast this morning.
did.
We all were there. Said, I'm going to bring you in on this too, because it fits. You said your body is not broken. It just needs the right environment to heal.
Yes.
And now, y'all think back at the breakfast, they talked about the different zip codes,
I made that parallel too.
so it's a matter of life and death. It's a matter of quality of life and non-quality of life. I mean, would you care to elaborate on that?
I would, and I made the same connection because it's truly about the environment that you provide, both internally and externally. And so, in the case this morning, he was saying if you're from a neighborhood that doesn't, have the resources that you need, that this is really going to affect you, and it does, and obviously that's external. So, even if we start there, I'll tell you what I would do. I would get some music in my ears. I would be saying some good words. I would eat the best food I could. I would drink the best water I could. I would do the best movement I could if I was in a physical environment that was going to kind of bring me down. But it also goes internally. We're constantly creating a condition, a state within our body. And that's either going to be conducive towards health and wellness and energy, or conducive into more toxicity and things that rob our energy. So the place that we put ourselves in the environment, internally and externally, the amount of stress, the amount of light, the amount of sound, all of these things come together to help entice either health or illness.
Okay. And now we get, again, I gave you the first 15 minutes of the show. So what we didn't mention, you're also the vice president of the Dream Center.
That's right.
And again, to officially introduce Mr. John Dortch, the unofficial mayor, is the president, founder of the Dream Center. And so when we talk about focusing on certain zip codes, Mr. Dortch, I'd have to think you were intentional about bringing somebody on, of Kelley's skills, understanding exactly what goes on in some of these very zip codes that you're serving.
You are so right. That is one of the reasons we put the Dream Center right where it's located. That's a 46803 zip code, ties right in with 806.
Yeah.
And as part of that, under the Dream Center, we have 3 pillars: health and wellness, entrepreneurship, and life skills. What Kelley is handling is the health and wellness and life skills. Matter of fact, she's doing a class on Wednesday evening from 5:30 to 7 on healthy eating, and will be at the Dream Center. So for the last year, we have been doing 2 classes a month, not just on healthy eating, but on a lot of different things on life skills. But I was shocked when I heard the report this morning about those zip codes.
Yeah.
Now, we have a lot of things we've done, but we have a lot more we're planning on doing. When you look at the infant mortality rate, 15.4%, southeast side of Fort Wayne. That's unbelievable. So we got to do something about it.
That's exactly right. And then again, like we said, have to be definitely intentional. And I love when I'm hearing, Kelley, and I know Healthy Eating, Active Living, the HEAL program, stuff like that that's been put in place to try to teach folks, about eating healthy. And I love, like you talk about, the holistic approach, and then how much money you actually can save off of eating healthy. When I was at the Housing Authority, I had a young lady who used to run our program, and she would literally, teach people how to buy, like maybe a whole chicken. And you have chicken, a different meal every day
That's right.
of that chicken, and taught people how to save it, how to seal it, all the different soups and things that you can make. So when I hear, these things that you guys are doing, I have to think that we're moving forward. What kind of progress have you seen? What type of participation have you had at your classes?
Well, Kelley has a simple cooking class that we started back in September. We only had a couple of people there. Now it has gotten so big, and now men are coming to, because some men are enjoying cooking.
We do have
She
some men
has
in the cooking
also,
classes.
she wrote a grant and starting in May of this year, we're going after middle schoolers, and she can tell you more in details on that. But it was approved, and the middle schoolers will be able to learn her cooking, go home, tell their parents. That again will make an impact on infant mortality.
Yeah, no question.
Yeah. And, the changes that you're talking about, really, it's going from the processed foods and convenience foods over to whole foods. And like you said, understanding how to purchase it, how to save it, how to make the most of it. And, a lot of times we can give people the vegetables and the food, but if they don't know how to really make it taste good, if you can't just take a head of cauliflower and make it delicious, we have at the end of remember the last cooking class we did, kale chips, and I did this cauliflower. The kids were just licking the pan, like they could not believe how good kale could taste. But if you don't know, you don't know. And it's really about the skill of cooking it and then understanding, how to change habits so that it's not always grabbing that highly processed food that you're going to be addicted to, that may not be providing all of the nourishment that you need, and how simple and delicious it can be when you start learning about whole, healthy foods.
You hit the nail on the head, and I know that was our biggest thing, because again, she would do the program at some of our different sites at Housing Authority, and just getting kids to actually try it. It doesn't sound
They're
good,
shocked.
it doesn't look good, but then when they taste it, it's like you said, they're the biggest fans, and that's the best way to make the changes, to get the word spread. And now they're looking at other kids like, what, you don't do this?
Exactly. And it's fun getting them in the kitchen and cooking, and then they want to taste it, and they're just really discovering something that now they have access to all of their lives.
Yeah. And then the other thing, you talk about the holistic approach that we haven't even touched on. You got people in the kitchen cooking together.
Yes.
That bond that they're building.
That's
Yes.
true.
That interaction.
That's true.
Yes.
They're not up here in the video game, punching them thumbs.
Yes.
They're actually out there talking, stuff that's missed. Dinner time in a lot of families is
true.
missed.
I bring that up a lot. Like I say, I know I'm the nutritionist. I'm always about cooking classes, but so often I just see where that can be so helpful. If you want to get a group of people together, any age, and get them to start interacting and talking and ease up the tension, give them a project. Tell them now they need to make a salad together, and here's the instructions, and guys, go ahead. And before you know it, they're working together, they're focused, but they're still talking, and it's relaxed. I usually have music. I have beautiful food. And you think about people just in general, when we get together, we bring food, we share it, we have holidays. We are social beings that are made to create and share food. So so many different things holistically are being held
Correct.
together there.
And Kelley wrote a book last year that it sold very well, and it's all about food and different things in food. And she's planning on doing another one, probably by August or September of this year, which has a lot of good detailed information in it.
Okay, I got two authors. See, I didn't realize I got two authors sitting over here. Boy,
Yeah, but he
birds of a
encouraged-
feather. That's all right.
He's encouraged me to write my book. He's been really great about it. So thank you that he continues to
Well, perfect.
push it.
Now, you guys, some of your tenants over there, some of your different programs. I know Building Kings is over there. Do you guys encourage like Building Kings? Is this something? Do they attend your classes? How does that work? You got a program for the girls that I'd like you to elaborate on too.
Yeah,
with Power of Her.
Yeah, so we did a really great cooking class with The Power of Her recently with the teenage girls, and we've got all kinds of great pictures and videos, and so that's great. And what's great about the Dream Center is a collaboration. So I say you everyone who comes both gives and receives. Yeah. So the cooking that I do easily fits into different types of programs. We might have guests at the Dream Center where we actually have a small kitchen there where we've invested in the best clean water. I'm all about I want some good, clean, beautiful water in glasses, using silverware, so it's always in there somewhere. But even very specifically doing classes for programs like the She/Her program or the Building Kings.
We recently had the Don Wood Foundation. 3 other people were there and met with 4 different ministers because they wanted to have a program. And Kelley fixed a lunch for them. Wow. They really very, very happy about that. Yeah. So we're having various people that's coming in and want her to do lunch. And the Building Kings, they're there on Saturday morning from 10 to 12. And very few of them have been involved with the cooking. But we also started now a chess club because even younger boys like 8 to 12 or something like that. It's just now started. But there's some of the others that people have heard about it. They're coming in. We just had a lady this week heard about the simple cooking class. Yeah. So she really needs it. And she thinks she might need some one-on-one healthy advice from Kelley. which
Okay.
Kelley provides also.
Gotcha. Now you talk about she done cook lunch for these folks. Actually, you came over to the studio empty-handed. You know, where the samples at? We need. You know,
Yes.
I've got my cameraman likes to eat. I
You're
got the producers
right.
like
I
to eat.
should have
You came
brought-
over empty-handed. We need. That's the best way to get your message out there. You know,
Yeah.
advertise.
Well, then I guess I'll have to come back. That way I can bring you some.
Well, there you go. That sounds like a plan. Now, here's a question for you. Is it tough to eat healthy and eat right with the food deserts that exist in some of these different area codes? How do you navigate around that?
Oh, yeah, it is. It's really difficult. It's difficult where you live. It's even difficult when you travel. You know, I mean, the world is not set up for us to eat well. It's set up with McDonald's and Burger King everywhere. Sometimes I go in a grocery store and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not sure what I'm willing to consume here. But, you know, once you start to get at a place where you really feel good and you feel clear in your body, as soon as you introduce something like that, like if I were to have a Mountain Dew or if I were to like have a McDonald's burger, like I would really feel bad right now, you know?
Yeah.
So with that situation, you seek out ways to do it. So in my groups, I offer lots of solutions. So I have one that is like how to eat for $10 a day. Okay, like a can of really good salmon or really good tuna can be inexpensive and can be shelf stable, for example, right? Putting together strategies and things ahead of time that you know, and again, understanding your requirement as a person, or even more specifically as a woman. How much fiber do I need? How much, you know, antioxidants? Am I getting fresh food? Like, how am I feeling today? And then you find a way to fill those. So if I'm traveling and I know that I'm not going to have access to anything, I am packing things with me. I'm bringing green drinks. I do a lot of things with different types of medicinal drinks that I know I'm just going to get in. Maybe I do a coffee, but then I do some protein powder and some MCT powder, some collagen. You know, unfortunately, you know, if we're not getting everything from our food, we have to understanding what our basic requirements are and get those met.
Gotcha. So what about, do you face any opposition or backlash from people that, you know, they talk about this is how I always have eaten? I'm not, you know, that doesn't even look good. That doesn't, you say it's healthy, but my grandmother ate like this. This is how I was taught how to cook. What do you do when people speak like that?
You know, a little bit of opposition, and I really don't mind. I think it's fun to have that conversation. So you like fried foods? Well, great. Let's upgrade your oil. Let's take a look where you're getting your chicken from. Maybe we need to get a better place. You really want whatever it is that you want. You have a sweet tooth. You want chocolate? Great. Let's talk about it. I've got some monk fruit. I've got some cacao right from the bean. You don't have to miss out on anything. You're not going to be deprived of anything. But a lot of people don't challenge me. And really what happens is if they know me and I come around, they're just, oh, I was just eating this for a minute. They make excuses. They're like, oh, I probably need to drink more water today. Or, you know, whatever the excuse is, they feel judged sometimes. And I just say, oh my gosh, I am not judging you. I promise. That's not the case.
Gotcha.
I have to add to that because when I read media in 1990, I have 10 brothers and sisters, 11 of us. So when I go home to the farm in Alabama, they think I'm too good now. I cannot eat all of that. And they make fun of me.
Yeah.
We don't understand what happened because they still eat everything, no matter what it is. And around here, I still run into it from some people, you know. They kind of make jokes or will say something. I just ignore it because I do what I'm going to do.
And that's what I was going to say. And here you are, a grown man, though, that's strong in who you are. That peer pressure, that family pressure is tough. You
It
think
is.
about somebody that, you know, that can stand on their own 2 feet, they kind of give in. But I can honestly say, too, you made a difference in this young man's life. What he constantly, we might have a lunch date or something at church, and I don't do red meat. Kelley said I can't eat red meat. so it definitely impact. But he still makes some bomb desserts,
great.
though. He still to get his he'll hook up one of his desserts.
Yeah, he does. His vitality and energy is just amazing, and I appreciate that you do listen to what I say and give me feedback. So
It's good.
yeah,
It's good stuff.
it's great.
That's exactly right. And again, I just want to reiterate with people when we talk about zip codes being a matter of life and death and the infant mortality rate. I mean, I've been back in Fort Wayne since '92. And whatever stop I done had along the way, whether it's Urban League, Housing Authority, wherever, that's been an issue that we've been tackling
Sure
for them
has.
30 years. You think about
You're
it.
right.
All the hospitals that came together at one point, to do a grant and things of that nature. And like they said at the presentation, I mean, you think about life expectancy. People don't think about that type of stuff.
No, they don't.
Yeah, 46814 life expectancy. What they say, 20 years longer than the 03?
Yes.
That's right.
I mean,
Yes.
let that sink in for a minute.
Yes.
Yeah.
And without programs, without folks talking, we have to be able to do better. Utilize our education and what we know.
No better, you do
But
better.
we did a program at Reverend Bell's church 2 years ago, 6 weeks, starting it off. There were 20 people that we did a survey on, and each and every one of them had some kind of an ailment. But at the end of the 6 weeks, they were giving Kelley cards, shaking her hand, hugging her, and everything for how she felt that they changed her life. And Reverend Bell said that he was going to change at a repast. Instead of all that fried chicken and fried everything, he was going to change that around.
Yeah, okay, good luck with that. But I look forward to me some good funeral chicken, though. I mean, hey, honestly, hey. Now, what kind of you guys got any relationships, any partnerships with some of the community gardens? What kind of connections you guys have there?
Yes, we're currently now, we've just recently had a meeting with the young lady she used to live here. She's in South Carolina. I believe Georgia, maybe South Carolina or Georgia. And we're talking to her about a summer, what is that, a river? A fest here this summer with the farmers.
Okay.
I don't know if you ever go to the farmers market.
Yeah, we have a great roots and rhythm.
Roots and Rhythm.
Roots and rhythm.
And we're talking about doing it at the Dream Center out in the parking lot sometime this summer. Have a nice little rhythm music and also to have some vendors there talking about healthy eating and all of that. Yeah. So that's right now in the planning stage.
And that's really to encourage more farming and growing and those type of things. So it's kind of in alignment with that.
So the roots is like the vegetable roots.
That's
the
correct.
vegetable roots, but we're also going to bring in music and local music and, encourage people to just grow more food. And so we're really working on that. How can we turn some of the empty land into more places to grow food? And with the Johnny May Farm, that's been wonderful. And that will be a big part of the program I'm doing this summer. Where in the back of this building that they've now made into a kitchen, in the back is a full garden, a huge garden. And so the neighbors come out and they come and pick up vegetables. They have a small farmer's market. They also work with the Pontiac market that is in that neighborhood that's really starting to encourage more fresh food and shopping there, which during my classes, I'll be getting a lot of food from Pontiac Market and also from Johnny May Farm right there where they're growing it. So.
Okay, good. So you got a great partnership. Good.
Yes.
And we've had aprons made that for the kids to wear. What does the apron say?
In T-shirts and plant pick plate program. So kids, one of the programs we have this summer will start in May, and on 1 week they'll come in and work in the garden, either planting or harvesting, and then on the opposing week they'll come into the kitchen with me and start working on cooking. So there'll be several weeks where they'll be able to just actually harvest food from the earth, from the garden, bring it into the kitchen and create something delicious. And I think that experience is just amazing to get to offer to someone.
Gotcha. And then something just popped up to me. You talked about you do all the prepping and cooking. What do you do any gardening? Do you like at home? Do you have a personal garden?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's the best. My daughters have always gardened and cooked and lots of plants inside, lots of herbs. I really like sprouting. That's just something really easy you can do on your countertop, basically. But yeah, I love to have a garden. There's nothing like fresh tomatoes and also nothing like the gift of giving someone something fresh out of your garden that you've grown. That's just such a beautiful way to share with someone.
Okay, definitely. I agree. And again, OMV, we take all vegetables, fresh produce, feel free to drop some. Hey,
I hear you.
Shameless plug, but yeah.
Yeah, you got it.
Well, hey, I'm going to take this opportunity right now. You said you have some different stuff going on. Want to reiterate some dates for like of a cooking class and things that you have? Let the audience know when they could come over.
Yeah. sure.
Yeah, well, we have the one for Kelley is doing Wednesday
Yes.
of next week.
Calm in the chaos.
Calm in the chaos in the kitchen at 5:30 to 7. We have a tax person that we just brought in, and we're also working with First Source Bank at Satellite. And what we're going to be doing, credit counseling. We are tired of seeing people going to these pay here places and not. So that should be happening within the next month or so. We also have a media center that we will be opening up. And Kelley and Miranda, she can tell you more in detail exactly what they're going to be doing with that. One of the things you find is that because of technology, a lot of people are afraid of Zoom. You know, they don't know how and all of that. So Kelley's going to tell you what they will be doing and how they're going to train people in that area.
The media center is really exciting. So I have a background in computer technology, which has kind of helped me with all of this, putting together all of this biofeedback and blood work and putting it into a system and all of that. So I really appreciate both natural science and technology at the same time. And also with being an entrepreneur, realize one of the main obstacles of an entrepreneur is to stay up with technology, to be able to create your content, record it, edit it, market it, put it online, tag it. Like, it is just an entire job in itself. I've learned firsthand. And so the ideas then at the Dream Center is that the entrepreneurs are able to sign up online for time in our studio that we're building. And during that time, they can create long form content and then be able to then break that down into useful things for their business.
Okay.
And we have a class we're going to start, how to start a business. Many people, weekly, someone is asking me how to start a business. So we think we need to go formal with that. But it's not necessarily how to start a business. How do you stay in business and why businesses fail? Yeah. People forget to look at those two. Because even in starting a business, you got to make sure you have the right location and on and on and on and all of that. So we've heard enough about it. So we're going to start doing that. I'm also doing mentoring classes. Those people are coming from seed program. They go through the seed, and some of them have small businesses, but they have no idea about mentoring. And mentoring, some people think it's just like a one-time. No, I do mentoring for at least a year because it has to be a long process. You can't learn it overnight.
Gotcha. Yeah, you know, I'm 45 years in the making that you've been my mentor. Okay, I appreciate that. Hey, Kelley, you got a handout you want to share with the folks? Let them know what's going on here. What is this all about?
Yes, I do. I'm putting out some programs, and we talked a little bit about the blueprint. So I just want to really make that available. I'm doing a free webinar based around that blueprint. So you can go to my website, get on the mailing list. You'll get this. You can download it, and then I'll do a live 1 hour starting on April 24th. And what we'll do there is just talk about the 5 pillars that I've been able to work a lot with, which are things like, removing the inflammation and toxicity and finding holistic practices, starting to create our own personal blueprint. And then this takes you onto a platform that I have where, we have a really nice group of women who are just kind of sharing their experiences, recipes, events. It's just a community where we just start to recognize that we're able to help ourselves so much. Our body is so wise. And if we can remove the obstacles, we can nourish ourselves, we can get back to healing and calm instead of the chaos. We start to find alignment. And so I'm really excited to be releasing this energy blueprint soon.
All right. Perfect.
One thing we have coming up, we're working on it right now, is a trade tech program. As you might know, there's a big need for electricians and carpenters and plumbers and that. So we're looking at 3 different years, 3 different classes. We'll do 36.9. We'll do 30 per year, 10 in each class. We don't want the classes to be. We did this back in 2017, 18, and 19. And we had a total of 90 people that went through the programs. We did them at the Urban League, and they are doing exceptionally well. So this time we're going to do them at the Dream Center, and we will start with 10 for each class. And it will be funded by some funders. So we got some young men already heard about it. They're anxious to get into it.
Well,
Not only
I've been
young
telling
men.
folks, you talked about it the last time you was on, sir.
That's correct.
It's
Yes,
really
I
good.
did.
And I've
But
discussed it. So, yes, when is it going to kick off?
we're working with the funders.
Okay,
You know,
okay.
it takes
Okay,
takes a
well,
lot
do
of money.
keep me in the loop because I do have some young men that
wonderful.
definitely,
Good.
yeah.
I'm happy about that. So we're gonna
Yeah.
get this thing going.
Okay, perfect. Well, hey, Kelley Marvin, John Dortch, it was definitely a pleasure. You know, you guys doing great things at the Dream
Thank
Center.
you. Thank you.
Your work with this nutrition, again, tying it into the breakfast. Andrew Grinsmaker, the CEO at the YMCA, said one of his goals is to make Fort Wayne one of the 10 most healthiest cities in the country.
Yes.
And again, to get that done is you got the exercise portion and what you're eating. So excellent tie into this Good Friday.
It worked out perfectly.
And we appreciate everything that you guys are doing. And I guess with it being Good Friday, just, something that's been on my mind, a quote I heard the other day, but if we can start to establish the power of love, we can put that
Amen.
first before the love of power, our world will be a better place. With that said, I'm JJ Foster, another edition of Fort Wayne Up Close, ONB.